Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back.
Good Monday morning, a frigid Monday morning for many of you out there. This is Run It Back on FanDuel TV. Let's get the intros in. My name's Michelle. We have Shams Charania, Stadium Insider in Chicago. Shams, how is it?
It's, I don't know, negative 15, negative 20. It's bad out here for sure, but we're staying warm.
Yeah, you still go outside ever. Chandler, as you can tell by laughing, he's still out in LA. And Lou Will in Atlanta. Atlanta is fine, right? Or no?
We cool. Yeah, we got a couple freeze warnings. We don't do well with rain and cold weather, but that's about it.
Let's say that's very Texas-like. All right, we're going to get into it. Look, there were a lot of football games yesterday, but Dame Lillard did not get the memo. He decided to entertain the nation. Kings, Bucks, Lillard wins this one in overtime, 143-142 for his team. He had 29, 8, and 4. Giannis throwing in a triple-double, no big deal, but it is this moment that we need to talk about.
5.2 left. No timeouts left for the Bucks. Here comes Dame. 3 seconds. Dame pulls for the win! Dame time is alive and well in Milwaukee.
I mean, he just can't smile. It's like the whole thing, but he's back. All right, Chandler, we'll start with you. You know, right off the heels of this kind of a play, is there anyone you'd rather have taking the last shot in a game right now?
I don't think so. I mean, this guy, he's done it. He's done it over and over again. He did it directly in my face for my last game ever in the Rockets in the playoffs. He's done it from deep against Paul George and the Thunder. This is what he does. Steph Curry's probably, a better shooter, so I could also go with him. But when it comes to crunch time, man, this guy's got no fear. He's got ice in his veins, and he's done too many of these too many times for me not to pick him like in the line. So no, I'm going with Dame 10 times out of 10 because the guy is clutch. A lot of guys don't have this gene. A lot of guys are scared to miss this shot, scared to take this shot. Not only is he not scared, he usually makes it. So I'm rolling with Dame.
Yeah, I know it's a sore spot for you, Chandler. Like you just mentioned, he hit a game winner on your on your very last game as a Houston Rocket. But I'm not getting ahead of myself. I know they hadn't had a lot of these moments this year, but Steph Curry is still the guy that's going to take that shot for me. And Dame is going to be a close second, by the way. He's going to be the close second. I like the Dame time. I like the seriousness. I love it. Pointing at the watch. He got the kids doing it. You know, even Tyrese Halliburton wanted to get in and say it was his time now, but a lot of guys forget very fast because the Warriors are struggling. But give me Steph Curry to shoot that shot 10 times out of 10.
I do love that he never breaks character. Like, that's actually a pretty legit moment. My question, though, because we've talked about it, everybody's talked about it, whether or not Dame has found his actual spot on this team, the gelling, if they need more time. Chandler, where are you on that process?
Well, offensively, I think we knew this was going to be a fit. Even just talking about it, talking about hypothetical, who would be great for them, it would be Dame Lillard. The way he shoots the ball, the way he opens up the floor. When you look at their offensive numbers, they're second in points per game, scoring 125 points a game. They're fourth in pace. They're third in field goal percentage. They're fourth in three-point percentage. So it's offensively, they're elite. Now, they're the third best offense in the NBA. They're the 19th best defense. So that's where their holes are always going to be. That's where they're going to have to figure it out. That's where I think getting guys like Jay Crowder is going to help. But the way like I said, the way he shoots the ball, the way Giannis attacks in transition, the way Brook Lopez can step out and shoot threes, I still think Chris Middleton fully healthy is a huge, huge plus for this team moving forward. Yeah, I mean, it works offensively, and Damian Lillard now, he's played enough games to be comfortable, to understand the offense, when to play off Giannis, when to pick his spots, and they're flourishing on that end. To be a contender, though, they're going to have to lock in. They're going to have to get guys like Jay Crowder back. Pat Connaughton's got to be healthy. It's going to take everyone on that side of the ball because the offense, they're going to score points.
Lou.
Right. They've already nipped this in. They've already nipped this in the bud. They got to play through Dame. You know, if you look at Giannis triple-double last night, you know, all nine of his field goals are two-point field goals, and so Dame gives them He gives that option where he can stretch the floor, make big-time game winners like that. I don't know if you put the ball in Giannis' hand to make that particular play. You know, maybe Chris Middleton, but out of the three guys, the 3 stars that are on that team, you got to play through Dame Lillard if you want to score points on the offensive end. Like Chandler mentioned, though, defensively, that's going to be their Achilles heel. That's going to be where they have a lot of issues. But offensively, they absolutely have to play through Dame Lillard.
I want to talk about great feelings in sports, especially in basketball. I always think I've started to think the block's cooler than the dunk. But is there anything better than a game winner, Lou?
Not from my personal experience. You know, I've always been intrigued. I would love to score a touchdown. I think touchdowns are cool. You know, you probably get an opportunity to do it once in a game, twice if you're really good or if you're lucky. You know, I think that's why they dance so hard. That's why they celebrate so much. So touchdowns look pretty cool to me, but game winners are also very dope.
Do we have a game winner for Lou? Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see this real quick. Chandler, you don't get to talk about game winners yet. All right, just hold on. Here we go. Oh no, it's drunk. What is that clip from the NFL? Lou, we couldn't see it. All right, Chandler, you can talk about it.
We'll take your word for it.
No, I was just going to say game winners are just different because you can play awful all game long. It doesn't matter what happened, but if you're there in crunch time like Dame just was, it kind of eliminates everything that happened before. The ultimate task is to win the game. So the fact that you can do that, put your team on your back, it just kind of, especially if you had a struggling night or if you were a rough shooting night, then you go and do something like that. It's awesome.
It's so good. There's a moment afterwards. I'm not going to ever badmouth Mike Brown, and I'm certainly not going to start today after the performance he put in while being ejected in the 4th last night. He didn't like some of the foul calls, and his post game is amazing.
Dip, let me see that, man. I just want to show you guys why I got kicked out of the game right here. This is in the this is in the third quarter with 1:28 left to go in the third. And right here, you can watch. Go back and watch. Fox barely puts his hand on Dame's hip. Okay, incidental contact. He didn't push him or anything. He barely puts his hand on there, and they give him 3 free throws. Now,
he brought a laptop, Chandler. I love this move. So he went ahead and argued his case right there in the post game. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's hilarious. First of all, it's like Pat Bev bringing the iPad to the ref in the middle of the game. This is the closest thing that we've seen to it, and I feel what he's saying. He respected that. Listen, I understand refs are human; they're going to make mistakes. But when I don't get the same consistency, or I have 2 different refs explaining me 2 different foul calls and the actual rules, it's too late in the season to not know the rules or how you can guard somebody. So that really puts the coach in a box. If he's not fully understanding what's a foul and what's not a foul at this juncture of the season in Mike Brown's career, that's an issue. So I think that's where his frustration came from, is just the inconsistency. You know, Fox puts his hand on somebody that's a foul. The next play he doesn't because he didn't extend his hand. It just seems like there's a lot of gray area for him that he needs to figure out, because we're getting into the nitty gritty here of the season, and you know, games come down to this, and this can't keep happening where, you know, coaches are getting upset with the refs and the foul calls and the inconsistency. So I think as a group, the refs need to be better, but obviously the coaches need to know the rules, right? Like he's got to know how to. That makes his job impossible if he doesn't know the actual rules on how he can coach his guys on how to defend. So that's a real problem. But I understand it's a frustrating game, and when you feel like you played hard enough and you competed hard enough all night long to win the game, and you feel like you kind of got screwed over by the refs, it's frustrating.
The laptop should be a part of every single. What, Lou? Why are you laughing? You loved it.
No, it was hilarious.
I've never seen the laptop just be brought up so quick. Shams, we mentioned earlier in the season already, you've already had a few reports that the Kings, the Raptors, were involved in some talks concerning Pascal Siakam, and then it seemed like that just died down. But it looks like they still need a piece. Is there a chance that picks back up before the deadline?
My sense is that the Kings are going to take a measured approach ahead of the trade deadline. We're just about 3.5 weeks away from the trade deadline. So the Kings are going to be patient. I think they'll be measured. They're among the offers that Toronto has on the table potentially for Pascal Siakam. It's around Harrison Barnes and draft picks, a couple other salaries as well. But for the Kings, it's been about the timing of a deal. They wanted to get a deal done sooner than later and not have to wait. They want to bring in a player, whoever that player is, whether it's Siakam or anyone else, into the fold and really build that chemistry that's necessary. And the other thing is framework. I'm told Toronto kind of, when you ask for more late in the process, it changes the equation. It changes the framework. And when the Kings decided to pull out about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, it really made it so that it's really on the Raptors at this point to come back to them if a deal is going to get done. The Raptors continue to be engaged with teams on Siakam. The Indiana Pacers are one of the teams that they have been talking to over the last couple of weeks. So the Siakam market still is ongoing. The Kings are there potentially, but only if Toronto wants to go back to them. But I think overall the Kings have a few targets and they're going to be measured overall.
Oh, that deadline's going to be fun again this year. Moving on to the next game. I keep waiting to see if this Timberwolves team's for real or not. Looks like it here. They hang on late, beating the Clippers 109-105. Anthony Edwards 33-9-6. Gobert once again 15-18. He had 4 blocks. Kawhi had 26-9 for Paul George. Not a great night for Paul George. He only 5-19 from the field. Huge win for Minnesota. Anthony Edwards talked about so positively all of the time. I know we're always looking for the next face of the league, and John Morant for a second looked like it could be him, and we know how that has been going. Anthony Edwards is the face of the league. I propose it. Do you like it, Chandler?
Yes, I'm buying it. I've said multiple times, he's my favorite player to watch. He's my favorite player to listen to. Not only is he so talented, and he's much CTV, he has that Showtime, ticket sales like a John Morant, like a Zion, where he's explosive. He'll dunk on you. He'll cross you over. He'll hit crazy shots. So he's so exciting to watch. But he's also just putting up, MVP, first team All-NBA numbers and percentages, and he defends. And you don't really see two-way players this year, especially, this young in their career like Anthony Edwards. And he's on the first team in the West. So, yeah, I think his trajectory is unbelievable. I find him wildly hilarious in everything he says. He's a likable dude. He's likable. He's just a hooper. He just wants to go out there and play. And no one expected this team to be this good. Let's be honest. They're 28-11. They're by far the best defensive rating in the NBA. So they have guys that can score the basketball, and they have guys that can lock up and clamp, and they're versatile. They have deep veteran guys on the bench that can help. So this team is for real. But they only go as far as this kid. And yeah, he definitely could be the new face of the NBA. Even in that market and that small of a town, he's going to be an absolute star. He already is.
He's very hella entertaining. Lou, Gobert was once called part of the worst trades in NBA history. And now here we are, 18 rebounds, 4 blocks. I feel like every single person called it one of the worst trades in NBA history. And now he's sitting here on this team, and they seem not to be falling yet. I mean, I know people have their doubts, but is it a good trade now?
It's working. It's working. You can't say it's a bad trade. It's working. I think he's found his groove with this team. He's going to be a defensive player. He's going to rebound. He's going to do the intangibles, and that's going to allow Cat and Ant-Man to go out there and score the basketball and lead this team. He's one of those. He's in a position where he can be an unsung hero for this group. I don't know if that was a dominant performance, so to speak. Those are the type of stat lines that you don't really feel throughout the course of the game, but he's doing his part. He's doing his job, and that's what makes great teams great. Everybody understands their positions. Everybody understands their roles. You go out and do them. And Rudy Gobert has been that. If they need somebody to be a rim protector, he's been that. If they need somebody to offensive rebound and give them second chance opportunities, he's been that as well. A lot of guys hadn't had the opportunity to come into the lane because of Rudy Gobert. So at the time, I was one of those people that was very critical of that trade. I didn't understand where it was going to work. I didn't understand where he was going to fit, but it's been working for this group, and they're standing pat at the number 1 spot.
They just needed a little time to marinate. Look, he's not perfect. He airballed a couple of free throws, which was very, very funny to some, including Russell Westbrook.
Hey, let me know what you do with this song. I got you. I'm watching for you right now. All right. He's shooting right now. Oh! 2 times, bro.
Does that happen a lot? I mean, I feel like if if you're sitting, those are your seats. That's a pretty good vantage point. But is that common?
I love it. This is a competitive sport. That's going to give the edge to a lot of guys, even though they lost this game. That is a hilarious clip. I love it. And especially Russell Westbrook. He's always been a troll. He always has a good time during games with trash talking and getting under guys' skin. This is a hilarious clip to me.
You know, what's confusing to me is Russell Westbrook has done this before. He's shot multiple air balls from the free throw line. So I don't understand why he thinks it's so amusing. The video and the banter.
Hey, Chandler, it's always great to get the attention off of you and something that you do as well. It's always fun when you got somebody else to make fun of.
Yeah, he's deflecting crazy here because he's done this multiple times. And not to mention, Gobert came down at the end of the game and hit some big free throws to put this game on ice. So good for Rudy Gobert. And as funny as this was, I was confused by the messenger on this one because Russ has had his fair share of air balls.
Well, look, self-awareness is not something we embrace as a society, Chandler, and I'm okay with that if it makes for entertaining moments for the rest of us. Look, Shams, they're in first place right now. So you'd think, okay, don't do anything. And yet there's always room for improvement. And as the trade deadline looms, do we expect movement in Minnesota?
Tim Connolly, the Timberwolves, they're going to be aggressive. They're trying to see, can we get another bench player, another shooter, another guard in that rotation. So I expect Tim Connolly to be aggressive, and with new ownership there with Mark Lowry, Alex Rodriguez, I think they're going to want to see how much can we push the needle here into the luxury tax potentially and see who we can add. But let's give Mike Conley Jr. his flowers. He's averaging 11 points per game this year, 46% from three-point range. The stats never tell the story with Mike Conley, and everyone in Minnesota, they rave about his leadership, his impact on Anthony Edwards, on Karl Anthony Towns, on Rudy Gobert. They played together in Utah, and that relationship doesn't go unnoticed in Minnesota. And he's going to be a free agent in the offseason. But the value that he has there, the imprint that he's put on that organization after that trade, when they acquired him, they traded away D'Angelo Russell in that 3-team trade with Utah and LA. And Mike Conley Jr. has made an impact there. I'm told they want to keep him there long-term moving forward. So I think they're going to be aggressive, but a lot of their growth has already happened internally, and I think Mike Conley Jr. is a major reason why.
Long-term? How much longer is this cat going to play, Shams?
I mean, he's 36 right now. He's playing big minutes. He's averaging 11 points a game, shooting 46%. He's a guy that came in, wasn't a great shooter, and now he's averaging 46% from three. So, listen, only Mike Conley Jr. can answer that question, but definitely more than a year.
He could be like the Udonis Haslem, where he just is there for many, many years.
I'll tell you this. He's by far the nicest, sweetest teammate I've ever had in my life. So I know what the on-court productivity that he's bringing.
I don't know if he's going to want to be sweet.
Dude, he could not be nicer. He is the greatest dude of all time. So I'm happy that he's still healthy and going.
I like that. The wise man. And although 36 is not that old. Scoops time with Shams. Of course, a full slate of it's MLK Day. We've got tons of great basketball on the slate, but one game in particular, Shams, the return of Draymond Green. What's going on?
Yeah, Draymond Green has been cleared to play tonight against the Grizzlies. He's been ramping up all last week, was practicing, doing 5-on-5, playing with the coaches. And so they've gone 8-8 without him. Defensively, for sure, is where they're going to look at him to make a major impact. I spoke to Draymond Green on Friday night in Chicago, and he told me off the court, this team, him, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, the rest of the roster, they're like this. They're as close as they've ever been. But he told me we need to figure that out and we need to make that happen on the court. And that all needs to translate. And that starts with him being in the lineup. That starts with him being there and being healthy. And I told him, I think he's going to have the most major impact defensively. But he stopped me. He told me, no, offensively. And I think the glue that he's been to that team, providing another ball handler for Steph Curry, for Klay Thompson, we'll see. Tonight will be the start. And this window that the Warriors have between now and the trade deadline, a lot of decisions will be made for them, for Mike Dunleavy Jr. in the next few weeks.
I mean, I think they need help everywhere, Chandler, but all eyes will be on Draymond, obviously, as we wait and see what has changed. Has anything changed? What are your expectations?
I think he's going to come in there and do what he does. I think he's going to be vocal. I think he's going to be energetic. I can't think he's going to just magically be this different person out there. That's not Draymond. That's not what makes Draymond Green great. It's like DeMarcus Cousins. These guys, they are who they are, and that's what. There's some of that is the value that they have. And I agree with him that it's not just defensively with him, because he is a second point guard out there. He knows the offense. He knows how to play off Clay and Steph and get them in their spots, find them in transition, he's dribble handoffs. So he does provide more than just defense. And at this point, they need everything. They need all hands on deck. This team is struggling. So anything to kind of give them a little boost of energy and a breath of fresh air is going to help. So I'm sure they're extremely hyped to have him back tonight.
Yeah, for me, I want Draymond to be Draymond. I think that's what makes him different. That's what makes him special for this organization and how he's carried himself. You know, outside of the many outbursts and the things that we've seen in just this past, season. Other than that, I want to see him play with energy, like Chandler mentioned. I want to see him play energetic. I want him to give the referees the hard time. I want to give the other team the hard time. That's the makeup of him. He puts so much attention on himself, he allows the other guys to do their jobs clean and get out of there. So I don't want to see a lot of changes from Draymond. Obviously, when it comes to the flagrant fouling and all of those things that aren't basketball related, we want to take that out. But basketball-wise, I just want to see him do him.
By the way, Lou, they're a game and a half out of the play-in. So I remember you said it. You were like, these guys aren't dead. They're not out of it. They have a chance to kind of continue to get into that plan. And now with everything that's happened in Memphis, it's crazy to think it's right there for them to get in and just be a matchup nightmare for whoever they get.
And everything that's happened in Memphis is where we're going now. When it rains, it absolutely floods in Memphis, apparently, Shams. Desmond Bane now? What happened?
Desmond Bane, he injured his ankle last week, and it's a grade 3 ankle sprain. He's going to be out at least 6 weeks. That means him, Marcus Smart, each out 6 weeks, could be even longer than that after the reevaluation. So those two guys are out for the foreseeable future. Brandon Clark is out at least through the All-Star break. No idea when he's going to be back. We already know John Morant out for the season, labrum surgery. You have Steven Adams out for the season after his knee surgery. Derrick Rose has been week to week with a hamstring strain. This team is 14-25. There's 6 games in front of the worst team in the West, the San Antonio Spurs. I think that's really the trajectory of where this team is headed. And that should be a competition in and of itself. This is a Grizzlies team that's likely going to have a high lottery pick. And I think that is actually going to be a blessing, and it could give them options. You either draft really high, but even more than that, that could be a trade chip that you use. If you have a high draft pick, you're the Grizzlies, you have a lot of young players, your core is already young. What could you do in the trade market in the offseason with a high lottery pick? I think a lot of teams are going to be focused on the Grizzlies come summertime, but right now, it's unfortunate what this Grizzlies team is going through. They've got 8 available healthy players, including their 2-way contracts. We know what a healthy, fully loaded Grizzlies team can be. It's far from that right now.
Shams, like you said, this is going to be a blessing in disguise for them. They know they're not a contender without John Morant, and now they can kind of officially tank without tanking because these are actual real injuries. Like Desmond Bane actually sprained his ankle the other night. These guys are actually hurt. But like you said, why play these guys, finish middle of the pack, get a worse pick? This chalk it up. Get these guys fully healthy, and now you're looking at a really dangerous team when you add a lottery pick to this current roster, and you have a lot of trade assets. So, again, it's a tough break for them, but I think this is the best thing that could happen to them at this part of the season.
I just couldn't believe it. The bad news keeps coming, Shams. I'm going to say goodbye to you, and I mean this. Do not go outside, okay? We'll let you know when you can. Run it back. We'll be back with more.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back,
We're legendary. Carter, I don't believe what I just saw. We're legendary. Are you kidding me? Half man, half amazing. We're legendary.
Never gets old. 22-year vet in the league, 8-time All-Star joining us now. Great color, Vince Carter. That's just popping off the screen.
I tried to do something a little different, man.
I know we're all boring with our black shirt. Whatever.
Hey, and that's hard to wear a black shirt. What's crazy?
I know we're the worst. Look, okay, we started the show rightfully so with Dame Lillard's game-winning shot. It was his 4th all-time from 3, and only one player has more buzzer-beating threes in his career. Who was that?
Slow down. Dame got to slow down a little bit. Dame got to slow down a little bit. Shoot to 2, man.
Nope. Are you nervous? Are you nervous he's coming for you?
Nah, I mean, records are made to be broken. I know at some point it's going to happen, and that's what Dame does. I mean, he has the ability to shoot the 3-point shot from the line to half court and anywhere in between. I remember this one. One of my favorites. That I told Coach I was going for the 3 for the win. He's like, all right, cool. Dame has that ability. I mean, he's a clutch player, not afraid of the big moment, regardless of who's on the court, who's he around. So, yeah, I expect not to last long.
Where's the Dallas one in the corner over there by the bench?
Oh, I'm sure to show up.
Chandler remembers all of them.
That was the last one.
The Lakers, it's just been a weird year for the Lakers. Yeah. I think that's fair to say. They've lost 7 of their last 10, and we know that Anthony Davis took a bit of a responsibility for Saturday's loss to the Jazz, but what's going on? Whose fault is it? Can you put the blame even in one place?
I personally don't think you can put the fault in one place. I mean, naturally it happens, and the first person they look at is the coach. And why can't you get this team, together? Why can't you win with all this talent? But I think it's a mixture of everything. And we saw last year we're in this same situation where they were losing. They look at the coach, and then all of a sudden, just like I say, well, it's now the GM's responsibility to fix this problem. You have to fix this problem. You see that it's not working in the locker room. You see guys, whatever. You give them their chance, and now it's time to kind of put it together to make your run. Because February, I'm used to February being halfway, but All-Star break is coming around the corner, and then once All-Star break gets here, it's all about getting in position. So I think they need to kind of figure out what they want to do now, move some pieces. I know we're hearing whispers of different guys that they want, but I think it's a mixture of everything. Confidence. Obviously, we hear LeBron being disgruntled, but you're going to have to figure this out. All the masterminds behind moving people are going to have to sit down and figure it out immediately, in my opinion.
It's crazy because the in-season tournament was literally 20 minutes ago, it feels like. But the season ended today. They're not even in the play-in, Vince. It's weird to imagine a world, especially now, where LeBron doesn't make it further into any kind of a postseason. Can you see it?
I'm gonna say why. I think, in my opinion, I think it's a sample size. So it's like once the playoffs get here, your focus changes. You know what you have to do when the season. You're talking about a longer season. Guys. LeBron probably needed to rest or minutes. Well, he was playing more minutes to make sure that they won once they got themselves in position. And right now, it's just guys aren't playing well. Everybody's disgruntled. You're looking here. Whatever the situation may be. And, of course, you're hearing the outside noise, which in reality, we know, well, for sure. Lou, you've been around, well, both of y'all. When I got in the game, the outside noise was just people talking, not social media and all that stuff. And you can turn the TV off. It's hard to turn it all off, and particularly in LA.
Yeah, guys, we talked so much about the moves that Pelinka made, and it looked like a genius and what they were able to pull off. But that roster is there. So are we thinking that the front office is letting LeBron down by not doing more? Is what they did not enough, Chandler? Like what is happening and what needs to happen?
Well, I think the turnaround that they had last year is kind of why some people are giving them some grace, right? Because you hear all these rumors that D'Angelo Russell, Rui, they were waiting for that date to come where those guys are available. I think they're going to still make those moves. They're waiting on Gabe Vincent to get healthy, to put him back in the starting lineup. Then there's questions, is Austin Reeves, do they want to continue to build around him and him be that third, fourth option? Or do they include him in a play and kind of take that risk and go and get a Zach LaVine or a DeMar DeRozan, someone like this? So I think Pelinka did such a good job turning their season around. A lot of people aren't panicking, but when you look at the last 10 games, they're 3-7. Now you're hearing all these different stories. Everyone's disgruntled, and LeBron James can't be their best player and their most energized player every single night. the frustration is mounting up. So I fully look for them to make a move. But a lot of times a player in a locker room, it's obnoxious just hearing every day you're going to get traded. This guy's going to go. So D'Lo has got to try to stay focused. We see him skipping media. So now he's clearly pissed off. So I feel like sometimes just the best play is just to make a move, pull the Band-Aid off, and then you have your team moving forward to build with and to try and compete with. But right now, there's two up in the air for them to succeed.
Lou, are you agreeing with that? I feel like you're shaking your head.
Because I've played for the Lakers. It's a completely different environment, completely different level of expectation when you're in that purple and gold. Look, this is the Los Angeles Lakers. This is America's team when it comes to basketball. They have a standard of championships. They don't care about division titles, even though they hung up the in-season tournament banner. That was kind of funny considering it was the Lakers, but this team has such a level of excellency that they expect. They're going to make moves. You know, some of these guys that they championed early on in the season and early on in their careers, and they were going to be this and that, it's not working out. They're going to make some moves, and they're going to put LeBron James and Anthony Davis in a position to be championship contenders and championship ready coming out of that break.
Hey, I want to say one thing real quick. Chandler, you talked about how they're here, D'Angelo Russell in particular, hearing about the rumors all the time, but that's our game. You know, we can. I mean, if you think about that for us, all the years that we've played, we've always, I can say I've always heard my name in trading block, and I'm sure you guys have done the same. But at some point, you got to block that out and play what is on the front of your jersey until further notice, and that's 100%. How you get past that. You know, I mean, like I said, I know every day you pick up a phone and you can see it, you can hear it on the news, and you hear the whisper. But like at some point, you have to have that discipline. Like, all right, cool. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Let me make sure I'm playing the best basketball I can play, whether I'm on this team or I get moved, because when you go somewhere else, you want to be in rhythm and in a groove for your new team as well. So I just think you got to be able to figure out, you have to be able to block the noise out. And it's going to be it's a part of the circle around you. And I don't know any of these guys who are frustrated with their circle, but I'm like, let's not talk about that. You know what? Build me up. And sometimes you got to self-motivate yourself as well, but build me up, man, and help me get past this and get out of this funk.
I feel like you're talking to the Dallas.
And listen, not only that, VC, I was with D'Angelo Russell his rookie year. This has been a narrative surrounding his name since the beginning of time in his NBA career. So at this point, if I'm here, I'm taking that chip on my shoulder and I'm going out there and I'm playing the best basketball that I can possibly play, and give me an opportunity to kind of clean up my name and say, hey, listen, y'all got me messed up. I'm a valuable piece on this team, and I can help this team get from point A to point B. You know, so if I'm him, I'm taking that in stride and I'm using that as motivation. I'm just playing better basketball.
It is crazy because there's certain guys like Buddy Hield has been on the trading block his entire career, right? You know what I mean? So it is, you hear it's part of the business all the time, but when it comes to you can see certain guys, they get salty and they don't take that. But as long as you have the understanding, like you're saying, Vince, and you're playing basketball at the end of the day, right? Like, so you have to stay ready, you have to stay motivated, and you have to block out all that stuff. Even though nowadays with social media, everyone has a voice, everyone has an opinion, it's tough, and these guys get frustrated.
I want to make moves, but I don't want there to be any rules in place. Vince, we're going to start with you. Nobody's untouchable on this Lakers team. What are you going to do?
I feel like the first thing you need to do is solidify your point guard position, and not put the expectation on LeBron to be the ball handler. And I think Lou said, or Chandler, one of you guys said, you can't expect LeBron to do everything. Chandler, you said that the emotional leader, you're playing your most minutes with the most energy. So I just think you need to find another floor general. And I'm going to say a guy like a Rondo who's not afraid to get in AD's face, who's not afraid to get in LeBron's face and get those guys correct in moments as well, but also be a floor general out there and create for other guys, because I feel like at some point you're going to run LeBron in the ground. He's great. He's one of the best to ever do it. But at some point, you're going to have somebody to take the pressure off him. We always say AD. Okay, fine. He does it in spurts as well, but you still need a floor general, in my opinion. And some shooting.
And some shit. Oh, good Lord. Well, who's Rondo like that you could go get?
There's nobody like Rondo.
I feel like that's tough.
I don't hate DeJounte Murray on this team. If I can flip him for D'Lo and Rui and a pick or something for DeJounte Murray. He's young. He's going into his prime. He can score. He can facilitate. He can defend. He kind of fits this culture of this roster. Because I like their role players. Like Vince, I like Taurean Prince. I like Cameron. Those guys know their roles. But they need somebody else to kind of set the table. They definitely need LeBron healthy. They definitely need Anthony Davis dominating. But they do need that Rondo, DeJounte Murray, that lead guard to take over. And Austin Reeves is great. But we've seen that he's better off the bench. He's better going to that against second string defenses. He can score. He can shoot the ball. But I do think they're one trade away, and I do think they have interesting assets that other teams would like.
And so for me, listen, we have 3 different opinions on what they should fix. That's a bad thing because I feel like they're losing a lot of these wing matchups, man. You got to go out there and get you a DeRozan. You got to go get a Levine. I wouldn't even be mad at you put Siakam in that position, someone that can win those wing matchups, because at the end of the day, I agree with you guys. You need a floor general. You need somebody who's going to set the table. But we all know LeBron James is going to bring that ball up the floor, and he's going to control the tempo of the game. He's going to control everything on both ends of the floor with just his leadership skills, and that's just how he plays. He's going to be the point guard of that team. So for me, when he goes out, you got to be able to give the ball to somebody in that mid post that's going to face up, that can give you both options to turn around and go get you a bucket. And on the other end of the floor, sit down and guard somebody as well. And I just feel like, Prince is a great guy in that position. Austin Reeves is a great guy in that position. Before the aspirations for the Lakers, they need a big name guy.
Yes or no, Vince? LeBron wins another title.
This year or in general?
Ever.
Oh man, that's a tough question. No.
No. Chandler?
It's so hard to tell, right? Is he
That's what I'm saying.
Is he going to go to the best team in 3 years and play, and play with his son?
3 years.
I'm not counting this dude out to still play in 3 years. The easy answer is no, right? The Lakers aren't winning this year. Who knows what they're going to look like next year? But man, I'm not counting this dude out to do anything.
So
you're
yes?
such a chicken. You are such a chicken.
I know.
You said yes.
No. My answer is no for now. But
Okay.
championship.
So that's my answer too. No for now.
Championships, they're getting so watered down. Anyone can just go sign a 10-day right now and get a championship. Vince, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years.
Oh, really? You don't know what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years?
Say no.
Come on.
My answer is no.
Chandler gave us all thank you. You gave us all that fluff just not to say a clean no. Give us a clean no.
Oh, are you running for office? What was that? Lou, are you a no or a yes?
Yeah, no. All right.
Okay, moving on. Let's go to the Warriors. Let's do this. Yeah, look, I don't want to just talk about the Lakers struggling because we got a Warriors team that also looks lost, and they've admittedly said that. Steve Kerr said Steph's already wiped out, Vince. Earlier in the show, we were thinking Warriors can never be truly counted out. But to think that Steph is already wiped out and hear that, is this team done?
My answer would kind of fill into what CP said earlier. I mean, you never can count these guys out. But I think they are fragile. I think they're fragile right now, and I think they need to find some youth in some offense. I mean, I think a Zach LaVine, some pop. They need something. We already talked about they're young guys. I mean, Moody and Kuminga. I think they have potential. But my thing with Kuminga, for instance, I think they're trying to make him be a newer version of Draymond instead of utilizing the skill that he has. They want him to be a creator and making plays, and he'll tell you he wants to get buckets. That's what he is. So I just think it's just you have to find the pieces that fit with your superstars. I mean, if you're gonna keep them, you better be nurturing and trying to mature some of your younger guys on the back end coming up, because right now it's just, where are they? They're going to, at best, I think they're going to be in the middle of the pack. Mm-hmm. And obviously when you get to the playoffs, anything can happen because of their experience. But I think a lot of it, honestly, guys, this is my opinion, I think Draymond plays a huge role because, yes, he's the floor general on the defensive end. And like he said, offensively, he's going to make a big difference. But I think what it's doing right now, it's wearing Steph down because he's trying to answer the question on the court, but answer those whispers and talks off the court as well. I am a leader. I am me. I can do this. I can do that. It's a lot going on. So I think they're going to need the best version of Draymond. But I think they're middle of the pack at best right now.
So are they cooked or not, Vince? We're giving a lot of runaround.
They're not burnt bacon. They're not burnt bacon, man. They're not.
Listen.
Go ahead, Lou.
If wiped out is 27 points a game, I would love to be wiped out.
That's a fact.
I would love to be wiped out. I think this is a smoke screen. I think Steve Kerr is trying to unarm everybody, and he's gonna sneak in and play in with Steph Curry being wiped out at 27 points a game.
Yeah, so it's a good version. Well, hold on, because the Kuminga thing is like we've already heard, he was a little bit disillusioned, didn't love what was going on. He and Steve Kerr had a talk, but they have like 3 of the best vets of all time on that team. If you guys are on that team, what are you telling Kuminga? Like, what are you getting him to understand so hopefully this thing can smooth? Vince?
I mean, you're just constantly, first of all, you just got to figure out how he ticks, because you can't, I've learned, and Lou, you've been in young locker rooms as well. Everybody isn't wired the same. And then from there, you just kind of just figure it out. You got to talk through situations, good and bad. When he comes out, when he's frustrated, once they, it's just, young guys are harder to talk to now because of the money they're making, man. It's just the reality.
The entitlement.
It's hard. Yeah, man. It's just hard to go in the locker room as a veteran, and especially, I mean, they have a lot of them that are proven, and you would think when those guys talk, you listen, and they do, but at the same time, they're like, yeah, but in Kuminga's situation, I could go out there and get buckets. I can score. I can go get buckets like you, and I think when you go to Golden State, correct me guys if I'm wrong, you fall in the pecking order in that system, of priority scoring. And Kuminga feels like he's a guy that should be high priority, putting the ball in the basket, and that's not what they're asking of him right now.
And you know
order,
what?
Yeah.
Have we even confirmed that Kuminga said that? I see that it said reports came out that he's lost faith in Steve Kerr, but he's getting an opportunity to play. He's getting an opportunity to go out on the floor each and every night, play big minutes since Draymond has been out, and he's produced. He's played well, and I think that carries over. So I don't even know if we confirmed that he even said something like this or even have those sentiments. Sometimes you get these reports and you get people that say that they have a unknown source and all of those things. But from the vantage point that I have, it looks like he's had an opportunity to play, and he's taking advantage of the situation.
I mean, look, the way it was told in the news and the media was actually a beautiful narrative, because he was not happy, had a talk with Steve Kerr, and then came out and had a great game. So, whoever, if it's real, if it's not real, if it's planted, it did what it was supposed to do. This is a Warriors team. It's interesting you say pecking order, because if you don't fall in, we've seen what happens as well. You get shipped out. So 3-7 over their last 10, 12th place. Chandler, do you make moves? I mean, it's hard to even ask that about this Warriors team, but here we are.
Yeah, I don't know what moves that they can make. I think right now, everybody is on the table unless your name is Steph Curry. He's the only one that's consistently played an elite level this year. Draymond's obviously been in and out of the lineup for other issues. Klay Thompson's had an up and down year. Andrew Wiggins, I don't know what's going on with him, but when they made that championship run a couple years ago, he was arguably their best player, their second best player for sure. So I think that they've put a lot of pressure on this young core that they have, right? Kuminga, Moody, Podziemski, and I don't think that any of those guys are ready for that next step and to become the face of a franchise. I think that's scary for the organization when you see your guys, Klay, Draymond, Steph, getting older, and they don't really have those replacements in place yet. So you see Kuminga, he's unhappy. He goes and plays a career high in minutes and great. But I don't think he produced as much as they expected. I don't think he's developed as quick as they've wanted. And they're kind of stuck in this no man's land where they're trying to maximize this time that Steph Curry is playing at this level. And they haven't. And it's frustrating. And I'm sure they're looking. And Mike Dunleavy, he took over a tough job, man. Bob Myers got out of this at the perfect timing, and I don't know what there is to do because there is young assets that other teams could use. Are they going to pay Klay Thompson? Are they going to trade Draymond Green? So there's so many unanswered questions that this team can do. But I think for this season, you just try and rally. You try and find a way to sneak into that play-in, because then anything can happen if you're fully healthy. And I think it starts tonight with getting Draymond Green back.
And I think this falls into in the line of what Lou was talking about the expectation of the organization. This is the Golden State Warriors. When you come in as a young rookie, you have to learn and follow what's going on, follow the process, and pick it up as quickly as possible. If not, there's time to move on. Like you said, they're trying to utilize the window they have with obviously Draymond, Clay, and Steph, and some of the other guys who've been there. But if you can't, it's like, oh my goodness, they're going to move on. Anywhere else, any other organization, maybe not the Lakers, but any other organization, they'll have patience with the young talent of Kuminga, because he is a talent. This guy is going to be something in this league. I think Moody is going to be something in this league, but unfortunately, it's where he is. You know what I'm saying? We all look at those two young guys and be like, nah, they're going to be something. It's just not there. You have to fall in line, which is tough for these young guys. And you said it. It's just, what these guys, it's just they feel like they should be this regardless of who they're playing with. And it's not going to work there.
And that's the problem. They see Clay struggling. They see Draymond struggling. They're like, damn, I can do that. Like, why aren't my minutes going up? Why? And they're,
or
like
Wiggins.
Yeah, exactly. So they're thinking that their role should be bigger, and they're just, they don't understand, like you talked about, the pecking order and the respect and putting these vets ahead of them. They think they can be doing so much more right now than they're given the opportunity.
Man, it's flying by. Time's flying by. VC, a pleasure as always. We will talk soon, and we're taking a quick break here. Run it back. We'll be back.
Run it up, run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back, yeah.
Very impressive.
Oh, goodness. That man does have a family, y'all. We're going to start with some O'Shea Brissett.
Oh, my.
Dear.
Oh, my. That's a 2-for-1.
That's
yeah, Dave.
That is a 2-for-1.
That ain't bad. I mean, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but that's fine.
Not often you see the ankle breaker and the poster in the same place.
Yeah, no side. Yeah, Josh.
Strong.
Represent for the side, man.
I mean, it looks like the Lakers.
I like that. I like that.
We're like, eh.
He tried to go for the two-hand block. That did not pan out for him.
Yeah.
Oh, Jaden Ivey spotting.
Oh, St.
Get off that rim. Y'all still ain't won 5 games.
Get off the rim.
Yeah, you're not allowed to hang and stare like that with 5 dubs.
Come on, guys. You got to find victories where they are.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Sengun's trying to get the foul.
That is a stare down, though. Oh, hold on.
This is about right.
I like that. I like that one. Jackson Davis. That's nice.
It's crazy because he's lower than Jackson Davis dunking, and somehow still gets the block here.
Yeah, he is.
He ran out of talent, man.
It's weird.
Ran out of talent. That's the meanest thing I've ever heard.
That's crazy. Oh.
Gotta have one. Gotta have one. There's your rookie of the year, guys. Woo-hoo.
I was gonna go see Wemby today.
But
you're
not now?
Let me take it. I'm staying in the house.
Shut up. Come on, you just show up, dude. You're Lou Will.
Michelle, I'm on a red eye tonight.
That's what I thought.
Orlando, Michelle.
Ugh, why?
I'm going to play golf. I'm going to play golf with Vince, actually. Oh, look at this stuff.
Oh,
that's fun. He's silly.
I like that.
That's
I
nasty.
like that. And that is why Aaron Gordon is important. Always cutting out of the corners.
I like that. He's
and
fun.
The dunker was almost extinct.
Or is that why Aaron Gordon is a lot better these days? Because he's getting times like this when he cuts.
That is...
Two things can be true.
Yeah.
God, that's fun. All right, let's take a look around. Wait, like I said,
good to see him work the dunker, though.
It's a holiday today. We have Thunder Lakers. I don't think this is going to end well, but we're going to talk about it anyways. It's the late game on the docket. Thunder have won 8 of their last 10. They're legit. SGA, MVP, so many letters. His over-under for tonight, 32.5. What are we taking there? Chandler, you're the betting man.
I'm going to take the over, but I'm so confused by that line. I don't know how on earth the Lakers are favored by 1.5. I'm all over the Thunder getting points. They're better at everything than the Lakers. I like the Lakers tonight, and I like Shea going over 32.5.
Wow. Over 32.5.
Half these dudes can't even get in the club, Lou. They're not going out. They didn't go out last night. They're too young.
Great point.
I'm going. I like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander to go for a good 35 piece tonight. You know, I like OKC winning this game. I don't know why all of the odds in the Lakers' favor for this one. Maybe is it in LA? Maybe that's the reason why. You know, because they're a good home team. Other than that, I like the OKC Thunder.
It has to just be that. Yeah, it has to just be that they're home. There's no other reason for a 1.5, right? Seems a little bit silly to me. You know what? We got 30 seconds left. We got 2 big football games. Why not? I got Bills Bucks. Who's with me?
Oh, wow. The Bucks, huh?
Chandler, I am 4 for 4 so far on my 6th game.
I don't want to talk football.
Oh, Lou, why are you a Cowboys fan? Let's talk when we get back to LA. We've got to change.
You know what? Today, I don't know why. It's stressful. I don't know why.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Run it back, yeah. Run it up.